When I think about you, Carlos, I think about someone who's making a huge difference. I also think about someone who was born to be a storyteller.
Yeah,
And now you have a quadrillion followers, the Insta Familia, but for years you didn't.
sure.
Like that's like the whole pivot part, and that's why I'm curious to ask you, like,
Yeah, yeah,
why didn't you give up? Why didn't you give up first before kind of the advice to
yeah,
somebody in that place?
yeah. I just felt like, um, when it was, when I had 15,000 Instagram followers, and I had that for a number of years. And that kind of paid my bills. It kind of, did what it needed to do. Um, and then when I felt like, and it was in 2020, when I felt like God was kind of calling me to talk about justice and some things
Yeah.
that, I'd really strayed away from, for a long time. And I really felt like it was the Lord, because, just saying, Carlos, you're really good at navigating these conversations. Why don't you try to start having him? And then I think at that point I may have had 27,000 followers. And then I made one video, Adam. And then the next day, I think I woke up to 17,000. Like, I think everyone left. And I just remember being like, oh crap. I thought this was God. I thought God, I just ruined my career. I ruined my life. I ruined I've lost thousands and thousands because I put up one video. And so here's the thing. If someone that's listening to this can relate, like you feel like God's called you to do something and then you do it. And then the opposite of what you think is going to happen actually happens. Where you're going to find yourself is, well, you're going to start asking, well, did God actually call me to do this? When God calls you to do something, God calling you to do something does not equate to success. I need people to hear that. Like, God calling you to do something does not equate to some version of success you're going to find in a book in Barnes and Noble walking down the leadership aisle. Like that. That's not what when God calls you to do something, what that equals isn't success, it equals obedience. And so that's what I did. I was obedient. And so I had to get to the point that next morning where I literally, Adam, almost hit delete on the video. Like I was about to be like, nope, I made a mistake, delete. Let me put up a big apology. And I had my finger hovering over it. Hopefully this is speaking to somebody. And I hit delete. And when I hit delete on the video, another pop-up popped up and it said, "Are you sure?" And I remember going like, wait, I've never seen this. What is this, like Holy Spirit Instagram button that popped up? Like, am I sure? Whoever asks you, are you sure? And then so like I hovered again and I was like, nah. And I hit cancel and I left it up. And can I tell you that one video, that moment in 2020, that moment where I was obedient in the fear and in the opposite of what success looked like, I was actually successful in God's eyes because I was obedient. And because I continued in that obedience, boom, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 250,000. God just unleashed the dam, and I got to see what obedience on the other side of, oh crap, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing looks like. And so here's the other thing. It's like I have to make sure that I'm continually dreaming bigger than I have the opportunity to pull off on my own. And so that's something else is like, I'm in a season literally right now, like in this moment, sitting in this chair where I'm chasing a dream that doesn't have a lot of traction. I'm legitimately doing something in my career that isn't having the traction that I wanted it to have. And so that's here I am, like everyone's yeah. So here I am. Everyone's like, oh, Carlos, like, look at you. Like, you got all this success, you got books, you're speaking, all these things. Yeah, but I'm actually trying to do something else that's not working. And I feel like I asked God if this is what I was supposed to do. And I feel like he said yes. And I'm 6 months into trying to do something that's not working. And what I've wanted to do over and over is to hit delete. I wanted to hit delete on this new post that I put up in my life. But I feel like when I hit delete, it said, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, no, I'll keep going after it. And so I'm in the middle of right now, currently, as you listen to my voice, I'm in the middle of it not working and my dream not working. And I'm just going to continue to be like, okay, sweet. Like I've tried everything on my own. There's no skill set that I've got that's going to pull this off. This is going to have to be you, God. And so I'm just going to, until God says no, I'm going to keep stepping into it. So you're hearing somebody that's actually in the middle of a dream that doesn't have traction right now. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I can definitely speak to, okay, yeah, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. God said to do it. So I'm going to just continue to be obedient. And so obedience, again, I have to keep reminding myself, obedience is the success marker. Are you being obedient or are you not? Who cares if you're successful and God told you, and God's not involved in it? I mean, who cares about that? We all have muscle and woo and all that stuff, but are you obedient in the things he's asked you to do, even when it looks like to man, you may not be making it, quote unquote?
Hey crew, it's Adam from The Conversation. I'm so glad that you've tuned in to this episode. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you go and click the subscribe button, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on Pando, so you don't miss a single episode of The Conversation. Also, I need to give a huge shout out to these partners. These partners help make this episode of The Conversation possible. They're organizations that I know and trust that I want you to know about as well. Have a great rest of your day.